Hello. Don't know whether it's working. Is it working? Give me a shout if it's working. It's been a tricky day for the internet. We've had all sorts of problems in the UK with our internet. I think Sky broadband was all down. But today it's been really, really sketchy for me, so it's a bit disappointing. Let me know if I'm live. Everything looks like it's working this end. I can't imagine this is going to work for long. It's been so up and down, hence why I'm so late. If anybody can comment on the old stream and just let them know I'm here, at least I hear your voice. That's nice. I am alive. It's nice to nice to be here. But we'll see how it goes. Hello, The Bunny Gaming, Butler Flu McGee, H2U Gone, Lumi. I can't remember how to pronounce your name. Sweet? I can't remember. Who's this? Martelum. Like, I can't pronounce any of these names. I'm not doing very well here. Hercules up. There we go. That's easy for me to pronounce. I'm going to give it a few seconds and see if, whether it works. And give it just a moment. If I suddenly cut out, then I might have to abandon it. And we'll see how we go. But nice to see you all on here. If you've got any questions while we're sort of having a bit of a pause to see if it's going to work, then give us a shout. Also, I've put my file on the actual description. That's the word I'm looking for. Thinking about too many things. I'm panicking, thinking it's going to go any minute. Get as much information across as possible. But we'll see. David Sayer, I think I can pronounce your name, yes. Just Marcel, okay, I'll try and remember that. There's quite a few people on, so I sort of forget who's who, but I'll do my best. Is it Berk talking to us? I suppose I do have a voice like Berk from Trapdoor. There we go. So, is my stream actually working properly? That's the thing. Oh, actually, there we go. There. I didn't realise I had that off actually. Nico, it may be a very short stream, so I'm nervous. I'm nervous with people with people donating, but thank you very much. I do really appreciate it. Okay, well, I reckon. Oh, I just noticed. Don't worry about that. I'm very nervous that this is just going to cut out any second, but hopefully we'll get somewhere. So, the file is in the description. So check the description. Hello, yes sir, and Hercules Art. So make sure you're up to date and up to speed with me. This is where I'm at the moment. So I'm in the shader editor. Let's get to layout actually, shall we? So hopefully all going well. I cannot imagine this working, but God, it takes a long time for shaders to compile in 2.82. I've noticed. I haven't tried. I think 2.83 is a bit faster actually. Can't remember. So if you're having trouble, the same as me with the sort of compiler update, and it just takes ages, it seems, to sort of go into shading mode, then update to 2.83 and you'll probably have less problems. Although one thing in 2.83, instead of Alt-M to merge vertices, it took me ages to find out, you press M. They decided to change that, and it's very confusing. Okay, so we're looking to animate today. I'm going to give it a few seconds longer, just to see whether the people from the other stream are joining us. So give you a few seconds. Maybe do yourself a little warm-up, a little Berk body, or if you haven't already, give them a mouth. Mine's a little bit lame, to be honest. It's just a plane with a subdivision surface and a shrink wrap modifier. So the shrink wrap is attaching it to the body of Berk, and the subdivision surface modifier, as you can see, happening there. What is rigging? Now that's a good question. Kazir Farouk. It's where you give a character, usually a character, some sort of animatable object, a skeleton. So you give them the skeleton, and that way you can animate them, and it works nicely. So the mouth, I've literally just said shrink wrap modifier and subdivision surface modifier there. So I suppose we could actually shade smooth as well. So right click shade smooth, and he's got a little mouth. Beautiful. I'll just move the cursor. He's looking happy. He looks a bit square though, doesn't he? He looks a little bit square. I could round him out quite easily by going in here and adding 2 loop cuts, but I don't think we're too worried, are we? Again, I'm giving it a few seconds just to see how many people join us and whether it's actually going to work. at the moment it's working, but it cut out. My internet cut out. Well, it's been on and off all day, and it usually goes out down for about 10 minutes. But the problem is YouTube doesn't allow you to rejoin the stream very easily. It seems to just sort of cut it off, and it's dead, and then you have to start a new one. So it's a bit frustrating. Okay, let's have a few questions first, and then we'll get going. Are you doing a stream on Friday if the internet holds up? Yes. I've actually placed an order with a different internet company who say they might be able to fix my problem. So all going well. They're much more expensive, but it's so much fun streaming, isn't it? We need this to work. It's good. Out of interest, is it possible to change which Alt key things are tied to? If I want to select multiple lines, I have to go to Alt GR and Shift. Better if it were Alt Shift. You can change key bindings. I haven't done it, but it's in under Edit Preferences. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, to be honest. But is it under Input? I tend to keep well away from it because it doesn't look like it is in Input actually. Interface? I can't remember, but it's somewhere around. Yeah, look up key bindings. I think that's where you want to go. I'll put it back to add-ons. So that's where I always go. So yeah, I try and keep everything the same as a beginner would see, and then there's no confusion when I'm doing tutorials. Yeah, one loop cut down the center would help him round out. Yeah, I mean it actually makes him more square, but then I need to select those two and select those, and then select these 4 loops. Oh, hang on, I've got to do that from this side. Because you can see it actually looks, I kind of like him like that actually. But now I can scale Shift Z and then round him out like this. Look how his mouth's changing with the shrink wrap. And he's a bit more round like that. Actually, he's probably more square like that. Scale Shift Z. There we go. Much more round. I don't know whether I like him like that. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to confuse people too much. But that's how you can round him out. There he is. Back to where he was. Why are you not applying the subdivision surface modifier? You don't have to. There's no reason to, but it probably, in fact, I will definitely need to before rigging. So that's a good point because it's tough to explain, but we'll go through the process and it will all make sense. But I will have to apply this subdivision surface modifier. I'll probably apply it on one level like this, and then add a new one so it's got something to rig to, because it's when you're moving around these verts, let's say we're animating it, we've only got, let's say the top here, 4 vertices to work with, excuse me, so we'll need more verts to work with. Turzo, there's your name shouted. Okay, so let's work on rigging. So I'm in layout mode and I'm going to go to solid mode. Is everybody up to date and we're ready to go? Oh, I need the Discord open as well, don't I? Discord open. Oh, there we go. Under live stream. So get your pictures in here. Hey, there we go. One from today. There's another couple from today. Looking cool. So some have already done the rigging. Well done. It's looking good. Okay, so there'll be a test at the end about your rigging skills. There obviously won't be a test at the end, but you know what I mean. Okay, just moving things around on my screen, making sure we're all good to go. Okay, so as we were saying, have you ever used Substance Painter? Yes, I have. It's really great. Yeah, really, really good. There's a few programs that are, if you're going to be a professional, then Substance Painter is that much easier to use and better than Blender for a lot of things. You can get the same results in Blender, but it'll take you a lot longer, in my opinion. Okay, so yes, like I said, I've got to apply this subdivision surface modifier first. So I've got the render and viewport down to 1 over here. Okay, so are you all with me? Are you all with me? We could do a walking animation. We'll see how we get on. I mean, this, I think is it on my screen? Yeah, this I would say is certainly we're getting onto the intermediate area. I'll try and go as simple as possible, but if you do get lost, I probably won't be able to keep going back and explain things because other people might want to move on. So it might be one of those where you just sort of watch and try and learn that way. You can always ask questions as well, but it may not be as easy to follow along with this one. Okay, how can I send my finished renders? Well, you go onto the Discord. The Discord is in the description. I made sure the link was working. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure I did. And that's my stream screen. There we go, Discord. I'm going to swap these around because I get confused otherwise. So the stream, not the stream, what's this called? Discord. There we go, Discord. You can tell I'm a bit flustered probably because I'm thinking, oh, my internet. But yeah, so post them up on Discord, and then I can talk about them when you post them. Yeah. Cool stuff. So who's following along? Give us a shout. Say I'm following, or me will do, so I know how many people I'm talking to and how quickly I can go, because if there's only about a few, then I don't need to worry so much that lots of people are trying to keep up and stuff. Okay, so the first thing we do is apply the subdivision surface modifier only on the body. I think let's just have a quick check in here. So the arms, the feet. So yes, we'll probably apply that as well. We'll bring down, not the render. It's always the viewport when you apply it. It's always what you see is what you get. Hey, there's quite a few. That's good. Good stuff. Well, there's plenty of gold stars to go out today. Yeah, gold stars. And this one will need to apply the subdivision surface modifier as well. And the reason being because we want, well, we possibly could get away with this one actually. We'll get actually in this one. Okay, what we'll do, we won't apply the subdivision surface modifier to these two, so you can kind of see the effects of it, but we'll apply it to this one because it just won't work otherwise. You're only here for the gold stars, Lumi. Well, oh dear. Well, you better work very hard today to get your gold stars. Anyway, so apply the subdivision surface modifier on the body, and make sure it's viewport 1. Make sure it's not viewport 3. Otherwise, if I go into wireframe, whoop, that's render. There we go. Right, wireframe. I press Z on my keyboard to get that. Oh, I need the shortcut keys. There we go. Thanks to JNM. So that's what we got with 3, and I should be able to bring this down to 1 and then subdivide it again. This is the thinking. Okay, so I'll apply that subdivision surface modifier. Go back to solid mode so you can see that's applied now, and that's what it looks like in edit mode. Now I can reapply a subdivision surface modifier, and then it's another level. Do you see that makes sense? I don't know if that does make sense but now when I'm animating, he looks a bit smaller now though, doesn't he? Might have to scale him out a bit. About there. Now when I'm animating, he's got more vertices to play with. That's what the bones will do. The bones will move the vertices, these vertices around here, and will connect up the vertices to the bones, but you do that automatically, so it's quite nice. Are you an animator? I'm not a great animator. I've tried lots of times to be an animator, but I'm more a modeler than an animator. You want blue stars? It's only gold today. I'll see if I can find any blue stars around and see what's going on. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is build our rig. So best view to be in is front view. How do I get to front view? Gold star going for front view. Cool, that's a bit too beginner, that one, isn't it? Maybe there shouldn't be a gold star for that. And he's got a bit, yeah, that subdivision diet, he's gotten a lot less chunky. I mean, we can readjust our shape slightly if we wanted to and make him a bit more weirdly Berk. But you can't, it's up to you. Perhaps using face mode and proportional edit would make more sense. So he's put on a little bit of weight again now. Too many donuts. Press 1, yay, there we go. Okay, so who was first then? We're just doing a little warm up. On my chat, on my stream, it says Erwin Sunny Ray, so you've got the first gold star of the day. There was an easy one. They'll get much harder though. Okay, so 1 on my keyboard to go to front view. Shift right click to set your cursor in the center. Actually, let's actually put the cursor in the center. So how do I put the cursor to the center? Should all know this by now if you've been following my streams. How do I get to the cursor to the center? There's 2 ways. So there's, and it's just the first one to shout out the quickest way. Shift S. So the Bunny Gaming was there first. There's also Shift C. Shift C will sort of zoom out. It's always weird how it zooms out. I don't know why, but it puts the cursor to the center straight away. Shift S, you have to Shift S and then cursor to. So, that's it. Cursor to World Origin. Okay, it's a good idea to go World Origin and set your model up so it's around the World Origin. So I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to move him all. G then Z, move him upwards so he's sitting. I always indent really slightly when you've got sort of fluffy feet like this, sort of roundish feet. Indent them really slightly. I don't know, that may be bad practice, but I always feel like it works better when I'm animating. Please explain about the proportional editing. So it's this button here. Okay, so if I press scale now, I've got something else selected. Oh, that's just dreadful, isn't it? Let's try that again. So if I press scale now, it just scales those ones. Proportional editing, if I press scale, and I've got this circle of influence, if I bring it up to here, can you see it's affecting more, and then I bring it to here and it's affecting more, or go down to here and it's only affecting those. So proportional editing, it's a bit like sculpting in a way. Okay, so we've got our model in the center. I'll bring the floor up as well. Bring the floor up. G, then Z. I've been a bit sluggish and slow at the moment, I know. Right, and it's a good idea before rigging to make sure your objects are in the center as well. So let's go to N and item and just check. It doesn't matter too much about the height, but we could reset them all, but location being 0. So the same for the eye, although actually we need to apply, let's think. Yeah, now that we don't want the eyes together because we might want to move them separately. So we'll separate the eyes. So what we'll do, we will apply our mirror. Okay, are you all following me? So I'm on the eyes and I'm applying the mirror for the eyes, and that makes them, it's still one object, but I can go in and select one of them by going into edit mode with tab on my keyboard, and Alt A to deselect all, and then L will select one of them, because they're not actually attached as such. They are one object, but they're not attached to each other. We could make them attached, but they are two kind of separate objects in a sense. I don't know if I'm making sense. I feel a bit like, this is not explaining myself very well, but hopefully it's all sinking in. Looks like my chat is synced properly today. Well, who knows? Maybe they were fixing it. That's what all the downage was. Downtime was about. Okay, so P is separate, you see. So one of my colleagues thought that, and I can't get it out of my head. And every time I go to separate, I go separate to try and remember the P thing. And then you can do by selection or loose parts. These are both two loose parts, and it's selected at the moment, so I'll do selection. Doesn't make too much difference. Okay, so I'm just thinking it doesn't make too much difference here what I'm doing, but they do need to be separate objects. So we've got two separate objects, that's fine. But look, if I click on this one, the origin point's in the center of this one. If I click on this one, the origin point is back over there, so it maintains its origin. So I need to right click, set the origin, and make sure that's origin to geometry, and you see it jump over there. Now their origins are in the right place. Okay. Okay, so fairly just setting up our model, making sure we're all on the right page. Okay, so we got and we're going to set up our rig now. So I was going to just make sure you're in the center there. The feet are two separate objects. They'll need to be the same object as well. Now what we can do, which is a bit quicker, right click now and set origin to center. Origin to geometry, I should say, and then of course it won't actually do that, will it? Because I have actually mirrored it around the object. So forget I said that. I'm being really confusing. Oh no, this is not good, is it? If this was a tutorial video, I would have started again. Okay, I'm going to apply the mirror. It doesn't really matter that it's second in the stack, but you can always get that error. Modifier was not first, because sometimes it causes anomalies, but it won't in this case. And then let's go in and separate them. So I'll do it the other way this time. P to separate, and then by loose parts. Okay, now you can see they're two separate objects. And then remember the object's center is there, so I want to right click this one, set origin to geometry, and we shouldn't have any problems there. All good. Same with the arms, they're mirrored as well. I mean, you can work with the mirror, but it's just, if you get any problems, that might be one of the issues. And it's nice to go really, really simple to start off with. When I go to sculpting mode, it's all grey. So how do I change it back to red? It's just under the matte caps. So under here, you've got matte caps, and you've got different matte caps there. There you go. Quick answer there for you. Hello, Skylar Studios. Nice to see you on here. Bye, Vito. Nice to see you. Okay, we seem to be okay. I'm a bit surprised that this is working. I'm assuming I'm going to cut out any minute. So if I do cut out, very sorry. I'll try and get back up as soon as possible, but it may not be possible and it may have to be abandoned. And maybe I'll just do a video and upload it to show you what I'm up to. Okay, so let's apply the mirror here as well. So apply the mirror. Again, it's not first, but that's okay. Let's go into edit mode, select all, P by loose parts, and now they're two separate objects, so we won't have any trouble, hopefully. Like I say, you can get away with a mirror. The rigs do understand mirrors, but just for the sake of any issues out there, it'll be good. Yeah, I'll do that as well. Check the scales. I think that will help as well. So right clicks. Oh, hang on. Let's make sure there's only one selected. Actually, the origin is kind of a good point there. Not that it makes much difference. Set origin to geometry. We'll go to the middle, just so there are any issues, we know exactly what's going on. Okay, so we're all set up and ready to go now. Again, those aren't essential things, but if you have problems later on in the line and the rig's not working for some reason, it's just a good idea to think, well, let's separate these out, because it's a nice simple model, we can do that and it should work. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. Into Pixel, I'm exactly the same. Okay, so let's start rigging. So one on a keyboard and a cursor to center, and let's add an armature. So the way you add an armature, Shift A and add a single bone. There we go, and there's the bone on the floor there, which we can't see very well because it's inside. Well, it's actually sticking up his bum. Oh dear, that's harsh stuff there. So what we need to do is go to our armature. I always forget where this is, and the viewport display in front. Okay, so wherever we are, we can see that he's got a bone up his bum. Okay. Actually, let's go to side view and make sure we're sort of in the middle. So grab that in the y-axis. Poor bone. Or poor Berk. It depends how you see it, really. Maybe they... Let's just stop talking. Okay, so that's in the middle. That's great. And we need a spine for Berk. So when we move our bones, Berk will move with them. Yep. Simple stuff. Judging from the smile, yes indeed. So in order to make more bones, we have one armature, which is this that we've got selected. So armature, I'm going to call it, actually just armature, because we'll only have one. So armature up there, you can see in the outliner. Can you all see that? Yep. So I can now go into edit mode and add more bones to this armature. Don't go into object mode, Shift A, and add more single bones. There's no and have lots of bones around the place. It's in edit mode. Okay, so into edit mode, E to extrude like you would any model, and then probably Z to constrain to the Z axis. And how many bones do we want? And it should make. Yeah, I'll give him 4 bones, I think. So the one there, E to extrude, Z. It depends how much, one, how many vertices your model has, because there's no point in having more bones than there are vertices. But also,
well, thank you very much.
That made me jump there, didn't it? Volume's a little bit loud. Thank you, Crazy 1985. You solved my mirror object problem. Oh, cool. Oh, I see. So it was the origin thing. Yeah, cool. Good to hear. Thanks very much. So where were we? Yep, so we'll extrude this again. E to extrude and pull that up in the Z axis. So we're going to the head there. So yeah, so let's look at the object again. Now, so this bone here will affect all these verts down here, this bone, these verts in the middle. There'll be a bit of overlap as well. So some verts will affect, some bones will affect more than one vertices. A bit confusing. This will all make sense later on, but I'm trying to sort of lay the groundwork for what rigging is. Okay, give us a shout if you're still with me. Let me know if there's any issues. Thanks very much. Is it just Mia? We were talking about this last time, weren't we? Like, I've just forgotten everybody's name, or how to pronounce it anyway. Haven't forgotten who you are though. So yeah, if you've got a question at Grant Abbitt, make sure it's got 2 T's, 2 B's, 2 T's, because I think I may have missed some questions. Sorry about that. Yeah. So let's. Oh, thank you very much, Manish Vyas. I think that is how you pronounce it. No issues for me. Yep, following along fine. This is good. I'm still here. Awesome stuff. I'm calming down a bit. I'm calming down.
Well, thank you very much.
Because I've just been very nervous about whether this stream is going to work at all. So I'm sort of, whoa, and actually, I've got a long cable and it's going all the way downstairs to my internet box. So I've got network cable, so it's plugged. So it's as good as there's no Wi-Fi issue. It's just my internet. So I went with 3 in the spine. Yeah, I think 3 would work as well. It's just in case I really want him really bendy and supple. Can't help but move around a bit when I do that. Yeah, especially with animation, you've got to be really sort of movie and think. I actually sort of act out in my head and sometimes act out the movement when I'm animating. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So we got the spine here. We probably need some arms as well, won't we? So what you can do this separately. So sorry, I'm just going to make sure I'm selected on my bones again. Now, I'll do this 2 different ways to show the ways of doing it. So I'll do the feet slightly different to the arms, just again to show the different ways. But generally speaking, you stay in edit mode and you just press, because the arms don't have to be completely connected. There doesn't have to be a bone coming up here and out here. There's no point. So what we can do is just add new bones. We press Shift A to add a new bone, and it just automatically adds a bone. And if I press G now, you can see it's actually underneath the other one at the bottom there, which is actually a little bit annoying because there's my cursor and that's where it's ended. You can, with the bones, which I forgot to say, you can select the top, the middle part and the bottom part of your bones and move them around like this, as you can see here. You select the top. I've rushed that bit a bit. So you extrude from the top and you get a bone. If I try and select this one and extrude, it goes a bit weird. Yep, so you're extruding from the top with the bones. Yeah, hopefully I'm making sense. I feel like I've rushed a lot of this. Let me know if you're lost and you need me to go over something. Yeah, the shape keys for the mouse, I'm not sure that's the best way to do it really, but we'll see. We'll see. I've not done it like this before, and I feel like actually it might be better. I mean, if you keep the shrink wrap on, it should work. But if we attach it to that bone and keep the shrink wrap on, it should work. But we'll come on to that later. Okay, so I want to add bones for the arm. So Shift A to add a bone. So Shift A, and you can see that bone there. So we can move this now. So I'll go back to front view with 1 on my numpad, G to grab, and then I can grab the end, G to grab. And Berk has arms like human arms. You'll be glad to hear. So we've got 1 for the shoulder, elbow, just like a normal bone. What is that bone there? Can't remember. What is that bone there? Yeah, well. E to extrude out and then across there. So that's our forearm bone, or the radial bone. Oh man, I just better not try and say what the bones are. I can't remember what they are. Now this is always a tricky one. We do want a bone for the hand here, so E to extrude out, and then we need bones for the fingers, but they don't have to be connected, and I'll come on to the sort of connected thing in a second, but for now we'll have them lined up. I mean, generally speaking, we have a sort of elbow like this, so it sort of comes along like this, but you don't have to worry too much about that. So Shift A, yes, Shift A. Yeah, I'm thinking please calm down. You are confusing. Which bit are you confused about? Because again, it is. Yeah, I've probably gone too fast, haven't I? Radius. It is the radius, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just having a look at the questions, see if I've lost people. Your eyes are getting worse since quarantine. I don't know. I think it might just be genetics, but it's important to take a break from the screen regularly. But I think it might be dietary as well, but I'm not really sure about that. Can bones be subdivided? Yes, thank you. I need you guys to ask lots of questions because I think I've really rushed this. So let's say I've got some fingers. Oh, crazy 1985 again. Thank you very much. Any Blender careers advice? Also, radial is on top, ulnar is the bottom. Oh, right. Oh, is that the 2? Because there's 2 in here, isn't there? Ah, gotcha.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
don't worry too much about Berk's mouth. We'll come on to that another time. If I get enough time, we'll go through it. We'll see how we get on. So career advice for Blender, it's a tough one because there's so many careers you can choose. Remind me in a bit and I'll try and find a point where we're maybe chilling out a bit more and I'll answer that question. People are being really kind today. Thank you very much, Tapan Joshi. Joshi, is it Joshi? Or Yoshi, perhaps.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
Subdividing both. We haven't got there yet, so I'll come to that in a second. Actually, no, we'll do that now. So we'll do the fingers. So top view, and then I'm going to duplicate this one. So I can press Shift right click and Shift A to add a bone, and there's my bone added. So I'll undo that. Or you can go to top view and Shift D to duplicate a bone. But can you see that weird black line there? That means it's parented to this one. Okay, which we'll talk about in a second, which is fine as well. Right, so we can grab these, Shift D. So I've done this wrong, haven't I? Because his fingers should actually have 2 bones in, because he's Berk and he hasn't got 3 bones in his fingers. He's only got 2. What are the bones in the fingers? Finger bones. What are they? Don't know. Humorous because it contains the funny bone. Oh no, meal is that Nuric? I think you've been on it before, haven't you? Should the thumb bone connect to the wrist or palm bone? It can. Yeah, no, it's fine. You'll see in a second. But if I copy that one, so Shift D, rotate it around. Actually, I should be in top view for that, and just grab that in position. This should all be fine. I'm just thinking. Okay, so he's got 2 bones in each of his fingers because he's a bit weird. Carpals, is that right? So carpal tunnel syndrome is interesting. So I need to subdivide them. So you right click, subdivide. Okay, to get 2 bones. Same for that one. I'll just check they're in the middle. They are. Right click, subdivide. Last one there. Right click, subdivide. And actually, that's not the last one. That's the last one, isn't it? Right click, subdivide. Okay. So at the moment these are parented. Now let's talk about bone parenting. What I'll do, I think I'll just go to the side here and talk about bones separately away from Berk. Okay, so I'm going to go into object mode, Shift right click here, Shift A to add, and just add an armature, a different one. Okay, so this is different from that one, and therefore I still need to put it in front over here if there were anything, so it's completely different. Okay, stream went blurry. Is it dying? If I disappear, I'll try and come back as soon as I can, and it might just take a few seconds. It may have to, like I say, it may have to be abandoned. Tricky, isn't it? You can subdivide. So let's do it with this bone, this new bone over here. So subdivision. So into edit mode with this bone. Again, it's not attached to this armature here. This is a completely separate one. So right click subdivide, and down here I've got subdivisions. Actually, can you use the wheel now? I'm sure there's a way of changing this with a keyboard shortcut, but you can do it there. Okay, so we might as well give that 3 subdivisions. Okay, so if I press Shift D, it's a duplicate, but it's this funny black dotted line here. Okay, blur for me too. Who is using all the? I know who is using all the internet. It's frustrating, isn't it? I've got a lodger, and I had to say, sorry, you're going to have to not go on the internet for a while whilst I'm streaming. I felt quite bad because he was playing games. Anyway, so now there's different modes in with your bones. So if we go up to here, we've got up to here. Try and say these things properly. We've got object mode, edit mode, which we've looked at already, but we've also got pose mode. So go into pose mode, and now this is where you can start posing your bone. So if I rotate, that's what it looks like. But this one is parented to this one, which is parented to this one, which is parented to this one. So if I click on this one and press rotate, you can see all the bones move. So I'll rotate that one, and then I'll rotate that one, and then I'll rotate that one. But that black line from this one to this one means that it's only the end of this one. Okay, it's a bit confusing because I duplicated this one was parented to this one. So when I duplicated it, Shift D. Oh, we can't do that in pose mode, so I have to go back to edit mode, Shift D. And did you notice all my poses disappeared? So just bear that in mind. Phalanges for bones. Carpal, yeah, the carpal is a wrist. That's right, carpal. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm not going to teach bone controllers today. Okay, so yeah, because it was I duplicated this one, it means it's sharing the properties of this one, which is a child of this one. Okay, parents and child. So, and parents and child, you think about, which is a weird analogy, but a baby inside its mum. So when the mum moves, in pose mode. It's pose. So you see my weird pose here. So when the mum moves, all the children, she's got triplets, and they all move together. Okay, it gets really odd when we get to, as I've heard the analogy before, E to extrude. That is now a baby of that one. Sorry, that's a baby of that one who's a baby of this one here. Sorry, not that one there. This one here. Okay, so it's a baby inside a baby. So back to pose mode. We've got this one is controlling all those, and then this one is separate, but it's a mother of this one. Okay, so just a parenting. You can also do this with objects. So if I go back into object mode, and let's just go to Shift A to to set my cursor, and Shift A to. So I didn't say that right. Shift right click to set my cursor. Shift A to add mesh cube. Right, we'll move that over here, and then we'll duplicate that. Shift D. So I can make this one a parent of this one, and so they don't have to be bones. And the way we do that, shift click one of the, and the one that's highlighted yellow is the active object. When we press Control P now for parent, Control P to set parent as object. Now when I rotate this one, the other one goes with me, but I can rotate this one separately because it's a child, so the baby's moving inside the mum. Okay, and if I Shift D, it shares the same properties. So if I rotate this one, they're both the child of that one. But I can change the parent. So I can make this one a parent of that one. I can get rid of the parent by Alt-P. So remember, Alt is sort of like an undo command. So Alt-R gets rid of rotation. Alt-G gets rid of movement. So I can press Alt-P and clear parent. So now when I select this, and I was going to go to pose mode then, and rotate, there's no parent. But I can then select this one and this one, Control-P, and parent them up. And now when I rotate this, and rotate this. So parenting, Control P for parenting, Alt P to get rid of. It's a good analogy. I can't remember it wasn't me that came up with it. It's a good one though, isn't it? What happens if we animate the bones instead of the controllers? Your object will move in the same way. It'll be fine. Do we need to be careful about armature origins in relation to object origin? Yes. Yeah. And you can get a few problems. So I'll delete these. And you do have to consider where your armature origin is. It shouldn't make too much difference, but when you're using things like Rigify and stuff like that, it's always a really good idea to set your origin of your objects so they're in the center, and your Rigify, which is a human armature, in the center. So if you ever come across that. But generally speaking, it shouldn't make too much difference, because in pose mode, it's always thinking that's the origin, as it were, when it moves, and it always moves around that bit there. Okay. Baby mama. It does get a bit weird with all the funny analogy. Humane rigging, that's the one. It was a sort of Blender course, and I think you can get it on YouTube because it's copyright free. So have a search for that, because that explains this really well. God, I'm getting really hot with these lights because it's been a hot day here, and I'm nervous about the internet as well. It's gonna just collapse on me. We're just rigging him manually. So let's have a look at our bone here. In fact, I'll delete these. Have I explained everything? Probably. I can explain more as we go along. So I'll select the bones, and we'll go to edit mode again. In fact, we'll go to pose mode. And remember, you've got, does anyone know the shortcuts? How do I get, what's the shortcut to get to this lot here? There's a shortcut. What is it? What is wrong with the internet? It's misbehaving. No gold stars for the internet. What's the shortcut to get to here? There's gold star going. So it's Control Tab, and you get the pie menu. And you have to hold it down. And so I can go to pose mode really quickly. So pose mode. So, actually that's not right, is it? It's Control Tab, will go to the opposite. Yeah, it's a bit weird actually. I shouldn't have said that one because I'm forgetting what these things are. Tab will go to edit mode. So tab will go to the last one. Control tab will go to the other one. It's a bit weird, but you can get a pie menu as well with control tab. I've just confused Blender. So who got it first? Tab. We'll say tab. It's more control tab. Yeah. So AJ Ballistic, you were there. You've got a gold star. Congratulations. That's the first star I think you've had. So you probably need to go through the currency. If you look on my website, there's how you can spend gold stars and all sorts. Obviously, I'm joking about the gold stars. Some people are going to start going, oh, how do I spend my gold star then? How do I get it? So we need to go to pose mode, so control tab. Because there's only 3 modes, the control tab is sort of switching between the last one. Oh, it's not actually. It's being really weird. I'm just confused everybody again, aren't I? Gold star. So gold star, question mark. What? Gold star? They're a silly fake currency that I made up to make people feel happy about themselves when they get something right. But the Abbitt stars, they're worth a lot. They're worth more than Bitcoin these days. So let's go to pose mode. Let's just go up here to pose mode. I feel like I'm being very confusing today. I got arm parenting to wrong backbone. How do I change it? Alt P to remove a parent, which we're going to have to do in a second because these aren't parented correctly. Okay, I don't think anyway, if I remember rightly. Just having a think. No, they aren't. Yeah. So let's move this around and see how it's going to work. So I can move this one and the whole arm moves. That's great. Move this one and the whole arm moves. That's good. And generally when you're posing, I undid that and it didn't undo the movement. Oh, it did actually. Yeah. You would go R then Y, for example, if you wanted him to move by the Y axis. So think about your local axis as well. R then XX and YY and stuff. But don't panic too much about that. It's not really important at this stage. How do I make them blue? That's pose mode. Pose mode is blue and edit mode is tab into edit mode is yellow. So up here I'm in pose mode. So if ever you see them blue, they're in pose mode. And if I select several, then they sort of ones are lighter blue than the others. Okay. Is there a way to make some object jiggle like your character's stomach when it moves? Yes, but that gets a bit more complicated. Probably shape keys and things is the easy way. Okay, so this is working. This one isn't working. It's not moving the fingers. Okay, so there's an issue here with how these are parented. These are parented to this one and not to this one because I duplicated that shape. So what I need to do is select these 3 and parent them to this one. So you select the one you want to parent to last and it becomes the active object. Control P and parent. Now, that didn't work. Oh, it's because I'm in pose mode. But you have to be in edit mode for this. I was thinking, it didn't look like it worked then. So select these, select that one last, Control P to parent. And then you get this menu. Connected is, do you want them actually to connect up? But we don't. They are actually not connected. They're sort of loose, aren't they? So we don't want connected. So Control P, keep offset, and it will keep them distance apart. Now, when I go back to pose mode, up here, don't use Control Tab. Now when I move these, the fingers will move, and then I can move the fingers individually. This one, however, can be linked to this one because, well, it's tricky, isn't it? We probably actually want, because you can move your hand like this. So I've done a really naff rig, to be honest. I should have done a bone there, and then the thumb should come out of there. Because we want, we kind of need a wrist bone to attach the thumb to. It doesn't matter too much in this case, but actually it kind of does, doesn't it? So what we'll do, we'll subdivide this one. In edit mode. In edit mode. So you can see the mistakes you're likely to make. You're thinking, why can I not subdivide it? Because you're not in edit mode. And yeah, it's because you don't usually go to and from pose mode so much. Right click subdivide, and then I can hook this one up to this one. So this one last, Control P, and keep offset. Did you see it? Oh, actually, what am I thinking? It's this one. That one to that one, Control P, keep offset. Okay, now when I move this one in pose mode, it will move the thumb as well. And that's kind of what we want. We want the sort of wrist bone, weirdly, which doesn't exist, but you actually need that. We don't really need it going all the way over here, though, do we? Not that it matters too much, but just for tidiness sake, I'm just sort of zooming into it, and we can bring this one back. So it's a tiny little wrist bone like that. Okay, so that's a bit complicated, and like I say, this is more an intermediate than a beginner, and I've probably gone way too complicated, forgetting that I need to probably explain some of these things. I think I'm deep into Blender so much now, every day doing loads of Blender, that I forget what it's like to be a beginner. And then you just sort of, and then you add a bone, and then you rig it, and oh yeah. So last time I was thinking, rigging, that would be well easy for loads of beginners to have a go at. And now I'm thinking, this was a bad idea. Let me know if you're still with me, and whether it's making sense. Don't panic if you're not. It will still help you if you're watching along and thinking, oh, okay, so that's roughly how it works. And then you might need to sort of look it up again, look back, and so forth. How did I make that stripe? Oh, this thing going across the bottom of the screen, it's just Streamlabs, and they've got there's a text option. Text option. Nice work, Owen Sunny Ray, good stuff. AJ Ballistic. We've lost a few though. I would have just added the thumb to the hand like the rest of the fingers. Yeah, you can, but what if you wanted to move your fingers like this? Then you've got this bone. Do you see what I mean? That's why I did that. So we've got that action. It didn't really need it, but but I see a point. So we've got a few still going, following along, keep going. I suppose we ought to look and see how you're doing, actually. Let's see how you're doing. Dorian Devani, Boney Berk, indeed. Minoto 200, excellent job. Have we got any others in here? I think we've seen these already briefly. But good to see you following on. Let me know that you're following along on the Discord server. Post your work up and I'll give you a shout out. And it also helps me to see where I've gone wrong as well. So if I've explained something badly and loads of people are making the same mistake, then I need to go through it. That's how we work in the classroom. Andrej, what did you miss? Well, you've missed loads. We've rigged Berk, we've made him jump and fly, and he can morph into different creatures. Actually, we've just done this. We've just done some bones here. It's fairly straightforward. The problem is people are trying to work on the model as you talk about it. But great work. Yeah, I suppose it's tough, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably not the best way to learn, is it? But rigging's a little bit harder, isn't it? So I suppose I should give people time to catch up. So if you can, try and get... So you've got a spine and a hand. I'll leave it there for a moment and answer a few questions. That's what I'm thinking. If I take time to answer questions, then people can kind of catch up. That's the thinking. So how can I move the mesh and not just the bones? Oh yeah, we'll come to that. So the bones eventually will parent the mesh to the bones. Hello, Asthalis. Let's see how you're getting on. Let's remember, if you've got a question, then at Grant Abbitt. That's looking good. Yep, well done. There we go. WW Kayak and Erwin Sunny Ray. Looking good, guys. Looking good. Couple of gold stars. Everybody who's posted can have a gold star. So we've got... is this today? No, where are we? So whoever's got some bones. Dorian Debani. Minoto 200. Hercules Art. You've already got a gold star. Acronym. Erwin Sunny Ray and WW Kayak. You have gold stars. Don't spend them all at once. Yes. So I was asked about Blender for finding work and stuff and careers in Blender. It's tough if you're just using Blender. Most industry is using Maya. Is it Maya or Maya? I just get so confused these days because I've said it so interchangeably, Maya and Maya. It's Maya, isn't it? It's Maya. But yeah, most of the industry is using that. So you may have to, you can use Blender yourself for any freelance jobs you get, and that's great because you can't use Maya for that. So Blender's good in that sense, but there aren't as many jobs for Blender artists. If you want to be a freelancer, it doesn't matter because you can export in the way that other people we'll see. So that's not a problem. I've worked with people in Blender, sent my stuff off to them, and they've edited it in Unity or whatever it might be. Hello, Jerome Jean Mariette. I'm new on the channel and Discord, and I was wondering where I can share final work. I've done the beginner tutorial yesterday on the wall. Cool stuff, well done. Generally speaking, we go to... where the heck's it gone? The admins have done a little bit of editing on this recently, which is good stuff. I think they're going to try a few things out as well. I was supposed to be in a meeting actually, but I've had so much problem with my internet, so I was supposed to talk and meet with them. But sorry, admin, if you're listening. 3D section there, and you can share your work. Let's see how people are getting on. The chess set's cool. Some people are doing some brilliant stuff. Sculpting, nice work. Look at that, excellent. So some cool stuff happening in the 3D area. There's quite a lot of people on here now, actually. So, yeah, and don't be afraid, just share your work. If you want me to take a look at it, then @Grant on that as well. Okay, how are people catching up? Oh, I just did that on the wrong screen, didn't I? So the 3D area there is what I meant to say. And yeah, so you can see what people are up to. Thought I was doing it on the... Oh, dear. Grant, what a day you're having. Okay. Maya, yeah, like the ancient, so the Mayans, isn't it? Maya, yeah. But I always then I start thinking, is it Maya? Oh, anyway. Does object scale affect render times? No, it's verts that count. I want a star on Discord. Well, have you posted? Let's see where you're at. God, I'm getting really hot in here. I'm gonna have to think of a new tactic for lighting when it starts getting warmer. Where are we? So. Let's bring it back on screen and live stream. Where's my live stream gone? So Grant's media live stream there. So Joja Ba and McCallum83, some gold stars for you guys too. That's looking good. That's looking good as well. Well done. That's great, isn't it? Okay, so hopefully you're getting time to catch up. Yes, yeah, GMT time. What are those Discord stars everyone wants to get? Oh, the Discord stars. Well, they're very sought after. They're a made-up currency, Abbitt stars, and they're just for you to feel better. Or feel good about yourself, not feel better. You might feel really happy and impossible to feel any better. How can you change the rotation or on gradient texture? You have to go to... that's a question for another time, but it's vectors. Think about if you've got the Node Wrangler add-on, press Control-T on the gradient texture and you'll get the vector and you should be able to rotate that. I think that's how it works. I don't use it very often. Have you ever been disappointed in your work? Yeah, loads of times. Definitely. I think pretty much every piece of work I'm disappointed in some way. I'm happy, but also, I could have just done that, But sometimes you have to know when to finish, don't you? So yeah, all the time. James Trowbridge, you have to work very hard for the made-up currency. It's funny. You just got muted for trying to sell gold stars. Butterfly McGee. So it thought you were trying to sell on here. Any 0.5 Bitcoin per gold star. That's good going, actually. I'd buy some, but I have quite a few. Okay, so now we want to in pose mode. So here we are in pose mode again. I'm still in pose mode, so up here, up at the top here. And if I rotate this, the body's moving, but the arm will need to move, won't it? So his arms will go with his body, like this. I'll have to move my arms up like this. There we go. Just to prove to you that arms do move with the body. Why am I doing this? Is it not working into Pixel? I might have to do that for another time, I think. I'll have to take a look myself and try and remember. I thought that's how you did it. Yeah, no, just trying to think in my head how you do it. Is that right? Maya means illusion. Okay, so what we'll need to do is we'll need to parent this one to this one. So let's go back to edit mode and get this one. And I want the shoulders probably around there, really, don't I? So does it need to be the end of this bone or the end of this bone? Actually, it's in the middle, isn't it? That's when it gets tough. I'm just going to do it to this bone and see how we get on. So Control P, and which one do I choose? Which one? Have a think which one it is. It's keep offset because I want to keep them apart. I'll show you what happens if I do it the other way. Control P, connected. All my bones move to that one. We don't want that. So Control P, keep offset. Okay. Oh, from Hindu. Ah. Keep offset. Well done, AJ Ballistic. You got their first gold star to you. Is that your second gold star of the day? Nice. Object into vector with coordinates. That's what. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, how come you don't do the 2-camera setup anymore? I just think it was a bit distracting. I don't think it's necessary, but I can say hello on camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. Is it a bit blurry? Oh, it's showing all my grey hairs as well. That's dreadful. And there's my cup of drink. So it's just embarrassing mess, isn't it? Can you show? Can you share your work on Discord so everybody? The best way to do that is to enter the competitions. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll save this one for Berk rather than any others. Nick B, if you don't mind. Anyway, where were we? We've now parented them. So if I go to pose mode and let's move from the bottom, the arm moves with it because it's parented. So Control P. Hopefully this is working. Right, yeah, so how do we copy this to the other side? So we want all these moved to the other side. I have to be in edit mode, of course, edit mode. And in fact, am I in pose mode? Has it got a bit of pose? No, it hasn't. That's all right then. Edit mode. And I want to duplicate these to the other side. Okay, there's a few ways of doing this. I'm sort of always stuck. Where is it? Mirror. There we go, mirror. Interactive mirror, Control M. But there's also just global X. So mirror in the global X. Like this. Oh, hang on, we need to duplicate it first. So Shift D to duplicate. Should really label our bones actually, but I'm just being lazy and not doing it. But I'll show you where to label your bones. So, and what was it? Control M, wasn't it? Oh, I thought it was Control M. Select mirror axis, X. There we go. So Control M, X, and press Enter. I might have to do that again. So I'm grabbing in the X axis and moving it across. Should be in front mode for that. And just make sure it's roughly the same as the other one. Okay, so I'll probably have to do that again, shouldn't I? Yeah, you can do scale X -1 as well. Shift S, S1. Don't know about that. Just seeing. Yep, there's lots on my channel. It should be a. So this is to. Shabir Ali. There's a beginner's course in the description. Good luck. Okay, so yeah, so I've copied it across to the side, and that's fine. So I'll do that once more because there's not a symmetry option. Yes, there is, but you have to have the bones set up already, and I forgot to whilst I was doing it. So if I click on this one, and where's the tool? There, tools there, X-axis mirror, and now if I Shift D, will it work? Actually, why doesn't that work? I'm trying to think. So if I E to extrude, yeah. That's interesting. E to extrude out there. Why is it not mirroring? Not sure. Don't know what I've done wrong with there actually. But yeah, there should that should work. I tend to want to name them things, and so I don't use that. You can probably tell that I don't use it very often. Could have used symmetrize since it's an armature. Where is the symmetrize? Oh, there is a symmetrize. Yeah. So I'm going to try that actually. Let's delete these. Let's delete all those bones. I can't seem to grab all the bones. Right. So do I have to select them and then go armature symmetrize? Didn't work. It might be my rotation. Let's go into object mode. Let's just check and see. There's no rotation, so that should have worked. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Those are things I don't use, so I won't be going into inverse kinematics. Yeah, so the way I'm doing it is selecting them and then copying them, but I couldn't get symmetrized to work. So armature. Oh, or do you have to be? No, you don't. Yeah. Let's select all and try that. Armature symmetrize again. Nope, not doing anything. Oh, hang on. Yep. No. Oh, it's minus x to x. We want positive x to minus x. No, still not working. Go on then. Let's see how they do this. You need to first select the bones, then right-click names to auto. Okay. So we need the naming conventions to work, and then symmetrize will work. Yeah. I think because I'm going to start confusing people, but that makes a heck of a lot of sense. Thank you, Miansel. Is that right? Yeah. So I need to actually name them, and they need to have a naming convention. Yeah. I feel like that might go a bit too far. Okay, let's. I kind of want to test it out. So under the naming, and so there's an auto name. Is that? I've never seen that. Auto name names. Auto. Oh, are you kidding me? Did not know about that. Oh, that's handy, isn't it? Love that. So this will be his left. So auto name left right. Yeah, how's it named though? Let's look at the name. Yeah, so left. Hey, cool. So it's done it. Oh, it's named them all. Look at that. It's named them all. Okay, so if I select this now, you think that's symmetrize is going to work, is it? Armature. Come on. Oh, no way. Oh, that's changed my life, that has. I always would grab all these. Not that it's that much slower, but the auto naming thing's awesome. And now, because I've got this x-axis mirror on, this is going to work, isn't it? Oh, no way. How cool is that? So who needs the gold star? I think you get a platinum star for that one. That was Mia. Is it Mia Ansel? Platinum star. I only give them out very rarely, so it's platinum star. They're worth 1,000 gold stars. Yeah, I know. You have to be very careful of how you use them, because it can really shift the world economy if you spend them too quickly and stuff. It can be a nightmare. So just be very careful with how you spend it. You might just want to put it in a cabinet. Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty cool what I just found out. What I've known all along, I was just testing, of course. We'll do it again in a second. So I suppose I'll show that once more. Delete the bones. In fact, I'll do it for the feet, I suppose. But what I've done is I've symmetrized them. So I'll do it for the feet. The feet only need one bone. So let's just, should we Shift D this one? Shift D. And then go from top view. Tattoo, remember? Yeah, indeed. And let's just grab this and pull it out that way. Front view, grab it and put it down. Grab it. And then on there. And just make sure we're sort of in line. Somewhere around there. Okay. So this is the foot bone. And it's going to be very simple, the foot, because it's just going to go like that. I don't want the complicated foot rigs or anything like that. Okay. People are still with me. I'm surprised. I feel like I'm really not explaining this at all well. There's other things that I'm thinking, I should probably explain bone roll, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. When I'm doing it, I'm just thinking, yeah. But now I'm explaining, I'm thinking this is quite complicated. Where is the bone roll? Let's talk about that. Yeah. So can you see how my bone is sort of upright in a really weird way there? If I go to pose mode and try and rotate around the XX, can you see it's going that way, which is a weird axis, or RYY? We don't actually want that. So let's go back to edit mode, and we can change the, where's it gone? Bone and then bone roll. We can change the angle and how it's roll, basically, what it's called. And it gets confusing when people talk about bone roll, but basically all they want, grab it. I was kind of thinking that into pixel in my head. Let's just go to, it's probably going to be 180, isn't it? It's going to be a nice one. Let's go there. It's slightly out. But just make sure it's sort of in line with so these finger bones, for example, I have got X merit. So we don't want them that way because it's going to rotate weirdly. We want them to be able to rotate that way. So I've got a weird bent finger because it's broken. I don't want to show that one. Look at it. It's dreadful, isn't it? So they want to rotate, and this is our axis going across here. So the roll They don't sort of rotate outwards like this, apart from this broken one. And this would, if we go into pose mode with that now, and I try and rotate around the XX, not the XX actually, the YY, is it? No, it's the ZZ, isn't it? Yeah, RZZ. Can you see it's going up at an angle because the roll is off? So what we need to do is make sure the roll is back to somewhere around there, okay, and then when we go to pose mode, we go R, Y, Y, Z, Z, there we go, about there. Now, there's more to it than that, but I don't want to overcomplicate things. I feel like I've already overcomplicated things and killed this stream. I'm surprised there's so many people watching. People are probably just looking at me thinking, I'm not following, I'm just laughing. Just laughing at what a car crash this rigging is. Okay, so what we just did earlier, and what, who was it again? Who was it? Mia, is it? Mia Ansel? Pointed out, which of course I was pretending not to know, is that you can, can you do it under right click? Yeah, right click, names, and then auto name left and right. That's really handy because it gives it this prefix you call that? .L.001 in this case. But the great thing about that is it means that you can now symmetrize, and it will pop over to the other side, and I've got symmetrize enabled here, x-axis mirror enabled in fact, and now when I move this it will move both. Oh, that's changed my life. That's why you get a platinum star for that, I'll tell you. If your rigging isn't an absolute car crash, are you actually rigging? Yeah, to be honest, I'm not like a professional rigger or anything. I can do this much, but it's tough going. Okay, so we actually have almost a rig now, but when we move this, G to grab, oh no, pose mode, get into pose mode, G to grab, it's moving the whole rig, but not the feet. But when we rotate this, we kind of want the top to move, but not the feet. So actually we're going to have an extra bone down here, which is like a control bone, a master bone, for that one to rule them all, as it were. So let's go to edit mode, and let's choose that one and extrude out here in the, well, I'm tempted to go this way, but I think I'm going to have to go that way because people are just going to talk. So we're going that way. Doesn't make any difference because the master bone is the one I want to connect the feet to, so I can move the whole object together, okay? Because this one is controlling everything from here upwards, but I don't want the feet to move with it. I don't want them to rotate with it. So in edit mode, we're going to select these two and link them to that one. That one last, Control P, to, keep offset, of course, keep offset. Why am I getting hints of pink in my noise texture connected through a color ramp? Normal's problem? Might be. I don't know, that sounds like a bug more than anything. Yes, so that's a big confusion a lot of the time, is edit mode and pose mode. I keep jumping between the two because I'm trying to show what it does, but generally speaking you're doing all your editing of the bones and parenting and things like that in what's that thing called? Edit mode. Okay. Nice haircut. Thank you very much. Yep, cut it myself. I always cut my hair myself. And with excellent results. It's not quite... it's got a little bit sticking up there, I hadn't noticed. Look at that. Oh, that's what you're joking about, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah. When it goes all grey like this, you just think, I'll cut it myself. To be honest, I've cut my own hair for a while now because I just don't... it takes a lot of time to go to a hairdresser's, doesn't it? I've really gone off on one here, haven't I? Anyway, so let's have a look at how we're doing. Let's go to pose mode and check everything's working. So first of all, I want to move this bone, and that's fine because generally we're going to rotate it like this. When I move this one, now I haven't connected that one to this one. Okay, so I'm moving my control bone and the whole rig should move. So we go back to object mode, Grant, we go back to edit mode, and select that one, select this one last, and Control P to parent. Okay. Weirdly, they keep offset. They always keep offset really nice, unless you desperately want it connected. Now when I go back to pose mode and move my control bone, the whole rig moves. So I can give him a sort of walk cycle and then just animate this one backwards and forwards, and he can be walking around. And all I need to do is then animate these going like this sort of thing and pretending to walk. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense. Do you have or know any good character tutorials in Blender? Yes, I've got one for Blender 2.79. I'm making one for 2.8, but it's going to be a paid-for course because I'm putting because I can go that much further with it. Because YouTube, you're kind of a slave to the algorithm, and I know that it won't get many hits after the first, and there's a load of effort going into it, and then I can then put loads more into it. Hopefully, people don't get upset about that. Well, I'm sure people will get upset. There will be some people who get upset. Anyway, so now we need to connect our character to the rig. Okay. Do you think it's better to animate with the subdivision modifier applied? You can do. Now that's a really good question, and we'll have we'll sort of look into that. If you if you apply your subdivision modifier, it's great because it doesn't have to sort of try and calculate. Well, it's just sort of simpler in terms of rigging and weight painting. I'm trying to think about the simplest way to describe this. So let's go back into object mode and talk you through. Okay, so here's our character, and here's a subdivision surface modifier. So I go into edit mode, and if I select the bones now and hook him up, these verts are going to be connected to these bones. Okay, and these verts will control the ones underneath on the subdivision surface modifier. So if I'm rendering and I think actually I want to. Oh, is it still working? Chat disconnected. Are we still all right? How are we doing? Are we all okay? Let me know if I'm still here. It says I'm okay. Okay, we're good. It's making me very nervous, that is. I don't know why. Okay, good to hear. Thanks, KTB. But so at any point we can think, oh, the rendering's taking ages or something, we'll bring down the renders. And that's the great thing about having a subdivision surface modifier. But it is a bit more to calculate if it's got to think about the bone movement, then how it's moving these verts, and then how it's moving the subdivision surface modifier. So it can slow things down. Looking good, that's great. So I think it's a good idea to keep it on where you can, but if it's not working, then you apply it. For more complex models that have a subdivision surface modifier, and especially if you're working in the film industry, you'll be working with sort of low res models like this, and then have these sort of things like subdivision surface modifiers or displacement maps on them and things as well, from what I hear anyway. Okay, so did I apply these ones? No, I didn't actually, so we're not applying them for the moment. You couldn't work on the first level because it only had a few verts to move around, so it would have struggled. This is, I think, is enough. So we are going to try and so I'm going to try and rig this up. Oh, going well. It's Abbitt with 2 B's and 2 T's and no H in there. Is there any way to pay for your work because I'm using Indian currency? I'm not sure quite what you mean in terms of, do you want to hire me as a freelancer? Let me know. How long would you take to render a short video in Cycles versus Eevee? It depends on the complexity of the textures and the models, but generally Eevee is seconds, Cycles is hours. That's the best way to think about it. Will the weights take into account the subdivision surface? Yes, they do. Yep. On Indian currency. Yeah, I suppose, I don't know, does India have PayPal and stuff? Don't really know. I can't really answer that one, sorry. Some eyelids on Berk. Eyelids get tough, and we won't go through that today. But yeah, you could use what people tend to do is cut a sphere in half and then rotate it, have it rotating and closing and opening and closing. That's the easiest way. It gets even more complicated when the eyes are different shapes, and it's a pain, I tell you. That's awesome character tutorial. I wouldn't mind to pay for it. Do you have any idea when you'll be releasing it? Hopefully fairly soon, actually. We're sort of working my way through. I haven't actually started it, but I've made the character. I'm working with a group of people. I hope they don't mind me saying. No, I suppose I better not. Actually, no, they won't mind. I'm working with Game Dev TV, and they do lots of tutorials for game development. And I'm sort of kind of joining their team a little bit, but as a sort of tag along. Yeah. Oh, and any person could pay for the courses you offer. They'll probably end up on Udemy and places like that. I think that's where Game Dev TV tend to operate the most. Actually, that's a great idea. Replacing the eyes with a clay ball for a blink. That's a decent idea, Tom Kayak. I like that. There'll be plenty more levels for Nodes for Noobs. Tomorrow I'm doing more on the hard surface modelling stuff. We're going to model a hunting knife. Don't know why, but it's a nice object to model, and it's a bit gamey as well, isn't it? Always gamey. Okay, let's. I suppose I should be answering questions so people have time to catch up. So hopefully everybody's got to this point. You've got a control bone. Again, these things don't. It's good to try these things out. They'll go wrong, and then you'll realise, I need control bones, or the weight painting I need to do, and all sorts like this. It's gonna go wrong, basically. Be prepared for that. But it's quite fun figuring out what's going wrong and why. Nodes for Noobs, yeah. So I haven't decided how many levels, but there's plenty more to talk about before we use up my knowledge, which is not that extensive, to be honest, but it's reasonable. I don't know what reasonable is actually when it comes to nodes. Do you use your models in Unreal Engine 4 or Unity? I tend to use Unity, but I hardly use it. I just focus on the modelling and pass it to other people to do their thing. Do we need to parent all bones with the body? Yes, exactly that, 3D basket. Well done. Okay, so let's do that. So what we can do, it should be all right to select all your... In fact, we can just select them like this. And I'll deselect the floor with Control Box Select. Okay, so everything's selected. That's funny with his... They look like he's got eyes now, and they follow you. So make sure the armature is selected last. So we can click on the armature. It goes yellow, therefore it's the active objects. Did I miss your comment again? Make sure you are at Grant Abbitt, then I can see. Can you make a sculpting tutorial based on Shane Olson's approach of blocking out? Yes, interesting. That's what I'm doing for the character thing. I like the blocking out method. I think that's really great. And since Blender 2.82, it's much easier with the remesh options. So that's the approach I'm taking with the character tutorial. Bones for the eyes. No. You see. I think it was Danny Mack who came up with this, and I thought, why on earth is everybody not rigging eyes like that? There may be a reason, but it's a nice, easy way to rig eyes. We're not doing IK. I'm tired enough as it is. I think we've only got half an hour left to see if this works. Do other 3D software use the same rules for rigging anything specific to Blender? Not that I know of. I haven't really delved into other 3D software in the same way, but when we export as FBX, they're the same from Blender as it is from other programs, so they store your animations and bone systems and things, so yeah, so it should be cool. Yeah, so I think I answered that. Chandria Maoli, I think it is. Meal, Nurik. Yeah, hopefully go into eyes. I'm going to have to speed up a bit, I think, aren't I? Can you simply show how to add a bone again without extruding? I'll quickly show that, because that won't take long. So in edit mode, so you've got to be in edit mode, not pose mode. Select. So Shift D is adding a bone, but that keeps the same thing as the old one. Or wherever your cursor is, Shift A to add, and it will just add a bone, because that's the only thing you can add in an armature is a bone. So that's what it does. Okay, so we want to connect up. Oh, there's a few questions coming in though. Can we export the rig mesh and then use it in my... Yes, I think you can. I'm pretty darn sure, Blender Boy. Hey, hello, nice to see you. Maya has a completely different rigging system, but when it's exported as an FBX, it comes out the same, doesn't it? I thought, but I could be wrong. Thanks, Halal, for correct me. Saffron Bunny. Trying to parent shoulder to neck bones, but I don't get the option to offset. That's interesting. Why would that be? Are you in edit mode? Mile. You did say this last time, didn't you? Yeah. It's Mile. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. The damn 3D cursor. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Hold up. Sort of. FBX handles it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's another format known as BVH that stores the rig shape and rotations. Oh, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Okay, we're all ready to go. Have exported a rig to Unreal Engine 4. It should work with an FBX export sort of thing ish. Yeah. I'd have to sort of look into it with Unreal Engine 4. It's sort of a bit weird, actually. Yeah. How to make muscles show through the body mesh while animating. Lattices, I think, is the way. Oh, it's difficult. Okay, I'm going to continue because someone asked me to. So select all. I'm going to deselect the floor and make sure the rig is select last. So just double check it's yellow, and we should be able to press Control P. Oh, you should get this menu. So set parent to. If you don't get this menu, it's probably because you haven't got the armature selected at last, or excuse me, you might have a light selected by accident or something like that. Are you going to do another portfolio review? I need to do that, don't I? Definitely, yeah. Have you ever played with Godot, I think it is, engine, isn't it? I had a quick look, but not much. I am into game dev, but just don't get any time to properly look at it because I'm too busy making characters. Okay, so Control P, and then the easiest way is with automatic weights. Okay, with automatic weights. Okay, so that's the fast, quick way of rendering. Rigging, as in parenting. Now, that may not be the best way for this particular model, but it will work and it's fast. Now, the thing is to test it. If you have any problems, you've got, so I'll click on my object now. Now it's got an armature applied to it. So if you have any problems, the best thing to do, if you notice you've got any problems straight away, so let's go to pose mode. Select the armature, go to pose mode and see if we've got any problems. Right, so we'll just test it out. So you can see there's a weight painting issue there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that today. He's looking pretty cool, actually. We need some music, don't we? Looking pretty cool. The feet might go a bit weird. They're not too bad. I mean, that's not great. Ideally, this bone would not be affected by this at all. This would not be affected by this bone at all. Let's just move our control bone, make sure it's moving everything. And it's all looking pretty cool. And the eyes are moving, so the eyes are connected to this bone, but we're going to rig them in a different way in a second. So, which pose is better for rigging? The T pose is possibly the best, but the Y pose is it the Y pose? That's it seems to be more commonly used. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because the T pose has a bit too much extension for modelling, so the muscle groups and stuff, if you can see there, they're very different to down here. As you see my big muscles there. T or A pose, that's the word. Y pose. I was thinking Y pose would be up here, wouldn't it? It's the A pose. Thank you, Blender Boy. My brain is starting to go. I've been a bit stressed about this stream, as you can probably imagine, and because of the internet, so I'm all over, and my brain is a little bit fuzzy today. Oh, there goes the dog. Okay. Oh, it's saying it's dropped a few frames. Are we still there? Oh. Okay, so it's dropped a few frames, but we're all right. Y-wing, I think that must be it. And A-wings, Y-pose. Y-poses are definitely the best because they're like this. It's like cops and robbers and they've got their hands up. They're the best way to... Don't listen to me. Okay. So yeah, A-poses seem to be more commonly used. Okay, so we can see this is working all right. Like I say, there's weight painting issues and we could go in and fix those. If we've got time, we'll fix them. Okay, but for now, I'll just sort of, we'll settle on this and we can see how people get on. What is FBX? Well, I don't know what it stands for actually, but it's a file format you export things from Blender to other programs, and it's one of those that's read by most things. OBJ is the other one that's read by most game engines and things. Let's take a quick look at Discord whilst people are catching up and seeing if their rig is working and stuff. So we've got a few gold stars to give out. Where are we? Did we get up to here, I think? I really like this. It looks like a frog. It's cool. But this, it's getting there. You're doing well, Ninsky. Nice work. And that looks pretty good. I like this. Did I get the arms down too low? Doesn't matter. Your Berk is just a bit different to ours. It looks cool. Dorian the Bunny. Many bones. Many bones. Looking cool. I like it. And all the bones in. Cool. My Berk has cute little tail. I can't actually see it. Oh, yes. It's looking a bit weird. Don't know what's going on there. Minito 200. Nice work. Erwin Sunny Ray again. Is it moving on? Yay, it's moving, Dorian the Bunny. It's moving. What the heck happened with auto weight? Now, that's something we can talk about. Did you apply the mirror? This is interesting, isn't it? Something weird has gone wrong here. And let's see what that could be. It's difficult to say exactly. So undo, basically undo, and make sure because it's difficult to try and delete a rig once it's in, because if I go onto this object that's got a rig, it's got an armature on it, but it's also got all these as well. So if I want to delete that rig, I have to go in and delete all these vertex groups, which are under object data, and I have to go into the modifier and delete the armature, and then you get rid of it. But it's easy just to undo. Now, if you do get problems like we saw just there from Jaggy, it's like Shaggy from Scooby. Is that the thing in Jaggy? It could be, so your objects, think about where the object centers are. Perhaps reset the scale. That might be another issue. And if all else fails, reset the location for each of the objects. And then it will hopefully work. Make sure there's no mirror applied. Apply all your mirrors and things like that. And hopefully you'll find it works. Yeah, hopefully. It's a bit of a nightmare though. When you get a glitch like that, you think, what the heck's going on? And you have to sort of figure all these things out. But undo and then reset. Control A is to reset scale and rotation things. So try and reset everything so it doesn't have to think about those. Okay, so the eyes is the next bit, isn't it? We'll go into that mode for this, look dev mode, so we can kind of see where the eyes are pointing. All right. Just checking everything's right. Oh, film box, that's it, isn't it? Andy Pimpkin official, thank you very much. Gold star, gold star. Yeah, it's created by Autodesk, was it? Autodesk is OBJ as well, isn't it? I don't know. Where was it? I don't know. Thanks. Okay, so front view. Let's move our 3D cursor to the center, roughly around there, and Shift A to add a circle. Now we might as well use a curve of the circle. So a circle. So this is what the eyes are going to point at. Okay, I'll go to side view and then move it across over here and rotate around the x-axis 90 degrees. Okay, so we've got a circle that he's always going to look at. Okay, I'll just move that. I'll make sure it's right in the center. So I've just got my transforms here and press 0. The character doesn't blink at the moment, but it would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Is there a clean option for unlinking bones? What do you mean unlinking bones? Do you mean unparenting bones from your mesh? That's the cleanest way. You go in and you undo is the quickest way, and it will get rid of everything. But if you've got an object here that's got an armature, you delete that armature, so cross it out, and then also go to the vertex groups and delete them all as well. Okay. I'm just looking at the discussion on A-wings, X-wings, and so forth. Okay, so let's put this in front of the eyes, so just there. So we need one circle there, and I'm just going to duplicate the circle. Basically what the setup we want, Shift D. Doesn't really matter what this setup looks like, but just move that one off to the side, so it's in the middle of that one there, and Shift D over to there. Okay, so you've got these 3 circles like that. Okay. Damp track constraints for the eyes, exactly, Halal, well done. Is it okay to combine skeletal and mesh animations for one mesh. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean sort of like deforming the mesh, like with lattices or shape keys? Then yes, you can. The lattice will need to be parented to the armature and then the object to the lattice, I think. Haven't actually done that approach before. I've used rigs with it in, but never actually rigged it myself. Controllers, it's getting too complicated now. This is supposed to be sort of like a beginner's session, so I think I've gone way too advanced already. So I'm trying to keep things a bit simple. More advanced stuff, perhaps for the Friday streams. I'm sort of coming to the. I am going to be rigging in the Friday stream with a bit more complexity, so you can watch that one. Cool. All looking good. Let me know if you're up to date. Let's have a quick look at the Discord. Cool. I'm feeling quite lightheaded from the heat in this room. It's getting very, very hot. Oh. Okay, so looking cool. Hey, look at that. Actually looks like Berk from Trapdoor. Okay, so I think we were up to Hercules art. Yes, we were. Yeah, we just saw that. Hopefully, Jaggy, you've managed to fix things. One hand is not connected. It's difficult to say what it is. If you're having trouble, then look up weight painting. I don't think we're getting enough time to talk about it today. Might just fit it in. But that's what you need to look up. It's usually weight painting, not connected, and it just happens sometimes. It's frustrating. But some good work here. So from 3D Basket, Marcellum 83. You all get a gold star. I'm dubious of this one. It looks to me like that is a screen grab. It's just too good. Is that actually, because that looks awesome. That does. It looks like Trapdoor, but it's working really well if it is. So www kayak. Is that meant to say blink instead of clink? Hercules art, cool. It looks so good. I'm thinking that is Berk from Trapdoor. So excellent stuff. Art acronym, excellent, looking good. Hey, hello. I've seen lots of these on. You do lots of these on Twitter. It's quite cool. You're looking good. Is this Maya or Blender? One bone seems not to be connected. It's frustrating when that happens, isn't it? It's difficult to say. But like I say, we're going to have lots of problems. It's Blender. Cool. So you've got lots of complicated. Actually, did you use the Rigify animal, or did you set your own rig? Because that's awesome work if you have. But I've seen lots of things like that. They're very good. He's just showing off now. Ex-student of mine. Hello, Liz. Make it dance, definitely. What about Rigify? Won't using it make a lot easier? Not in this case, because the rig is so non-human, really. It would take quite a long time to set up Rigify. He's got no feet. So, and Rigify is very particular about which bits you delete, and then you can get loads of problems. It possibly could have worked, but I think this is actually easier. Okay, so. It's a screen grab to show how they do it. Sorry, Tom Kayak, I understand now. So yeah, they've actually covered the whole thing, haven't they? So so it's just a different. I understand now. Sorry, I was being an idiot. Okay, so the eyes. So what we're going to do, these two are going to parent to this one. Okay, so have a go at doing that yourself. Okay, you've got 3 circles here. These two, you've got to parent to this one. Have a think about how to do that. Have a go. Yep. So you should be a master of rigging now after what we've done. So have a go at doing that yourself. I'll be answering some questions. I make avatars for VR chat. Cool. You should share on the Discord. I'd like to see them. It'd be interesting. So what programs do you use for that? I mean, obviously you're using Blender, but how does it work from Blender? Where do you go and stuff? That'd be interesting. Do you go FBX, or do they have a bit different format for some VR stuff? Probably FBX, I suppose, isn't it? And they just use Unity. Don't know. Not done it, you see, so just interesting. It is confusing, isn't it, Erwin Sunny Ray? Yeah, it's tough going. Shift P, or is it Control P? Just catching up. Do meshes need to be parented to each other before you add the bone rigs? No, they don't. They were all separate. Control P, yes indeed, Control P. So we select these two. So it wasn't really a gold star moment, but you can have one AJ Ballistic. It's so these two, then this one last. So remember the one that's sort of yellowy color, and then Control P. It's and now I feel like that's gone wrong. No, it's just object. Isn't it? Oh, it's because it's a part. Yeah, that's fine. An object. Yeah. So now when I move this one, it moves the two eyes with it. Okay, but they can go independently if you wanted them to go cross-eyed and stuff. Yes, it's going to be a male character. I'm not sure why I chose male again. It was. Maybe I'll do a female another time. Anyway, so what we need to do is get this one to look at this one and this one to look at this one. And there's a really cool method. Like I say, it's, what's his name? Danny Mac. He does a few rigging tutorials and stuff, so look at his channel, some great stuff on there. Let's go to the constraints. These are constraints down here. So with our eyeball selected, object selected, because this is going to have the constraint to say follow this, and it's under here and it's damped tracked. And then we choose the target, so we're just targeting this circle here, and it goes a bit weird, so where's it gone? It's pointing downwards. And basically you can just figure out which one of these it is. It's the Z. Okay, and usually it's the Z, to be honest, because I think, yeah, that was how I start them off. That's pointing up, that's the local axis, so it's the Z. But just choose each of these until you get the right one, basically. And then the other eye, damp track, choose the target, which is this, and then Z. And now, wait for it, da-da-da. Over there, no, over there, over there, over there, over there. Cool stuff, eh? Cool stuff. It is fun when you get to there's nothing like it when you get to this point and you're thinking, what are you going to do today, Berk? And you start moving them around and you start doing weird stuff like this. Although the weight painting is bad. But, I'm always rotating, by the way, always rotating the bones. The only one I will grab, I think, is this one. So you can move along. Where's he rotating? Right, Z. Ooh, look at that. But there's nothing like it. It really brings your character to life, obviously. So for the fingers, when you're rotating these, then, what is it? ZZ, I think, isn't it? Is the right axes. So you're always using the local. So RZZ. ZZ will take you to the local. And because they only go one way. I think you can lock them and stuff, but yeah, that's the way. I don't know why, but I want this to point upwards like this. So it's sort of going like that. Cool, man. It's just such fun, isn't it? So I don't know whether you managed to get here, but you can see actually his thumb, I'm going to have that going down a little bit. So RXX, no, that's ZZ as well, isn't it? There we go. And thumb, and this one will be slightly different, but I'm just going to put it there for now. Anyway, so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so just quickly thinking about it, remember this has still got the subdivision surface modifier. Let's put the viewport up and it's still working, as we can see in pose mode. And it's still working fine with the subdivision surface. We do have a bit of a problem with our shrink wrap though. Did I actually connect that to a bone? I can't remember, to be honest. Let's see if that's, yeah, it is moving with the bones. Can't remember. So I'd forgotten completely about him. Is he connected to the armature? Yes, he is, but it's sort of sunk inwards. He needs to be just connected to this bone. So I could possibly go through weight painting. Anyway, which software has better rigging, Blender, Maya, or Max? Well, most people will use Maya, and I've heard it's better for animation. I don't know about rigging though. Yeah. Are your eyes parented to the body or the bones? It's the eyes. I just selected those at the same time I selected everything and connected it to the armature. So these should... Oh, I went a bit weird there, didn't it? It is still going weird. These are both connected to this bone here. Okay. R for thumb. I'm trying to think what you mean. Oh, I see. Yeah. Sorry, the that weird rotation. Yeah, you could do that, couldn't you? I like that. Lumi. Nice work. Can you do a video on animating this character? It would be kind of fun. It's not the best rig, if I'm honest. If you want a good animation and so forth, it could be tough with this rig, but it's not bad. I mean, I could show you the very beginnings of animation. I don't know, that would probably be hassle. What might be a good idea, I suppose, is parenting. No, that's not worth it, I don't think. But I'm just thinking about his eyes movement. Yeah, the same problem with the shrink wrap. Yeah, I wasn't positive that was going to work because I've never done that before. I'm trying to think of the best way. I think it's probably just a weight painting issue. So I suppose I could talk about weight painting a touch. So when I move this bone here, so in pose mode, you can see that it sort of blobs the stuff next to it. And I think that's what's causing our shrink wrap problem. Not positive. So we need to do a bit of weight painting. So that this object here is not affected by this bone. So we click on that object and we go to weight paint mode. Okay, but the confusing thing is, which bone have we got selected? And it's very awkward to select that bone. I'm trying to remember what the command is now. So I'm going to go back to object mode and into pose mode here, and it should be the last bone you have selected, and then you have to go back to this the other object. But look, we can't select that object. So what you have to do in order to weight paint properly, as I've found it, I don't know if this is the official way, but you have to go to edit, lock object modes, and untick that. And now this will stay in pose mode. When I click by shift left clicking on this will still be in pose mode, and it's still got that bone selected. Now when I go with this object, actually I didn't have to press shift, you just select this object. But if I click on the bones again, they're still in weight paint. Sorry, they're still in pose mode. So click on this object, and then I can go to weight paint, and now it knows that it's got this bone, and I can actually go through, I think holding shift, control, and choose different bones to set my weight painting for. Now it's probably a bit confusing, but hopefully this will make sense after a little bit of working with it. And the weight paint tools are up here, and you can draw different weights on, so I can make this other bits be affected by this, which I don't want to do. I want them not to be affected by this, so I go to, instead of mix, I go to, where's it gone? Actually mix, so I can paint on 0. Yep, so paint on 0 and paint across this, and now that is not affecting. You've got to watch out for the really light blue areas. It's not affecting any of this. So if I paint on 1, so you can see this changing. I'm using a mouse at the moment, you can hear it clicking away. Red is heavily influenced across to light blue, which is hardly influenced. Okay, so that's weight painting. A very, very quick guide. But now, when I go back to this object here, can I just click on it? No, I can't. Okay, we'll go back to object mode with this, and then click on this object and back into pose mode. Now when I move the arm, it's not moving the body anymore. Hurrah! So let's try and see if this object here, and go to weight painting. So actually, that's, yeah, just checking that's that bone. This object, go to weight paint mode, and strength of 0. No, it's not that. Yeah, it's not that that's affecting it. Probably wasn't the best way of doing it. I'm not sure shrink wrap would work. Use auto normalize. I'm not sure what that does, Tyler Dane. Let me know what it does. Oh, is this for, you can do things without unlocking? Okay, so there is a different way of doing it, is there? This is the way I've sort of figured out how to do it in 2.8. We'll have a look at the Discord in a second. So let me know about auto normalize. Little trick I've found out is that if you select the armature in object mode, then the model, and go into weight paint, you can do shift control click to select the bones. That didn't used to work for me, but let's see if it does now. So object mode. So I'm selecting this. So then select the body, then weight paint. So shift to select the body. If you select the armature in object mode, then the model, and go into weight paint. So now I can, so that does, yeah, so I can control click. Okay, so that's how to do it without lock object modes. Didn't know that. So you select both the armature and the body at the same time. That's confused me for a while, that has. It removes parts you paint from other bones. I'd forgotten about that. That's a good point. So yeah, where is the auto normalize option? Is it under the options in weight paint mode? Is it under, where is auto normalize? Let me know where it is. Can't be under there. Options perhaps. There it is, auto normalize. Yeah, that's a good point. I've forgotten completely about that. If you tick that, let's click on this bone here. So control click to pick on that bone. When I'm painting, let's paint a bit on here, it will take away the influence of this bone here. So you can only go to 1. It's difficult to describe and explain, but that's really handy to be reminded about that. Thanks, Tyler Dane. Have a gold star. It's almost a platinum star moment. It wasn't quite as revealing as the auto naming. That was awesome. Yeah, I suppose I could. I was thinking about applying the shrink wrap, and then shape keys. You probably don't need the shrink wrap still on it, I suppose. I was just thinking if this deforms in a weird way, it might cut into it. Yeah. Okay, let's think about the mouth. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I suppose actually I should say that about the bones. Let's go back to pose mode. And I like this pose, so it's a good idea to have, in layout mode, I've got rid of it. But your timeline at the bottom here. So bring out a timeline. It's probably getting a bit advanced now, isn't it, with all this? But I can press I to insert a keyframe for the location and rotation. In this case, it is just rotation because I've only rotated the bones. I haven't actually moved any. But I choose lock rocked location and rotation because that's what you might have moved one of them, and it's just easier to have them all in there. So they've all got a keyframe on them now. But I can press Alt R and it removes any rotation, so it's back to the T pose. However, if I move this, it's got that keyframe, so it knows that pose. So I'm going to go Alt R and then keyframe that, lock rot, and now you can see it moves between the two. Yay. Okay, so what we need to do with this, let's go to object mode. I think, we probably need to apply the shrink wrap. And think about which, let's just see what happens. Oh, it is actually moving with it, so the shrink wrap's fine. But if it was attached to any of the other bones, it might have been an issue. But there we go. That was simple enough. Just apply the shrink wrap. Job done. Shrink wrap is, it sticks things. So let's say I've got a sphere around my rock. If I press shrink wrap, it will actually go to the shape of the rock. And it's really useful for retopology, or if you want to put let's say I want a headband. I'm saying headband because it's usually a belt, but headband I can just sort of shrink wrap and add faces all around, and it will shrink wrap and stick on the head. So it's really useful modifier. Okay, we are getting to the end now, but I've really fancied some more animation, don't you? He just looks kind of weird at the moment, doesn't he? But what's he going to do? Let's just go to pose mode quickly. Oh, I'm not on the actual armature. I don't know what he's going to do, but I feel like he ought to dance, really. I'm going to move these, so select all. I'm going to move this keyframe, G to grab keyframes, and I'll move this starting pose just off there. So he's going to start like this. Don't worry if you don't understand keyframes. It's not not where we're going. That's an interesting point. The armature modifier being in a different place might have fixed it. That's a really good point before the shrink wrap. Yeah, clever point. Yeah, hadn't thought about that. Making him walk. Oh, it's going to be that would take too long. I'm going to just make him dance. Okay, so after 10 frames, so you get, I always like to work in 25 frames per second because it's easy to add up, but your settings for the frames are Actually, they're in the next one, aren't they? Yep. Frame rate, 24 frames per second. So I always change it to 25, and I always edit in 25 anyway, because I'm European, and we have PAL, which is our standard, 25 frames per second. So got along here are your frames. So that would be 1 second it would take. So I'm thinking half a second for him to jiggle to one side. So I'm going to go here, and he's going to do a bit of dancing. I'm just going to move these slightly. I'm just randomly rotating. I'll use the RR for this one again. Woo. Okay, so he's moved there. Select all, insert a keyframe, lock rock. And now, I can then copy this one, Shift D, copy this one, Shift D, and he's looking cool. And I can actually, you can do a loop animation, but I can just select them as well. So Shift D, actually, is that going to work? Because that is working here. And then I can just do that all the way along. And he's going to be dancing. I don't know what I'm singing, but he's dancing. He's cool. Yeah. There we go. Does he wear pants from top or bottom, or does he wear skirt? Not sure what you mean. Okay, let's see a few of these questions now. Right. You can add poses to the pose library. That's a good point. That's probably a little bit overcomplicated, but thank you for reminding me, Tyler Dane. You've obviously done a lot of rigging before. I like it. Does changing the order... Oh, sorry, we've said that. How does he wear a cap? He doesn't really feel the cold, so he doesn't need one. In a normal head sculpt, would the eyes have their own origins like Berk? Yes, they would. And would they be kept in place with weight painting? Yeah, yes, basically, yeah. Because most of the head would be linked to sort of one bone anyway, so they'd sort of all move together. The eyes and the sockets would all sort of stick with one bone, and this is the only bit. It's difficult to talk while trying to move your jaw, it's very difficult. But that's the only bit that would be on a different bone. So everything else is on this big sort of head bone. Having said that, they do sort of, I'm saying that and then realising actually they do have sort of facial rigs for skin and stuff, but generally there'd be a backbone here where the eyes would sort of stick to. Hopefully that made sense. Can he walk? He can only dance at the moment. He does Charlie Chaplin walking, Berk does, yeah. Why not 24? It's just easier to add up with 25 because there's 4 25s and 100, and you can sort of, and these are...
thank you very much.
Thank you, Manish VS. Much appreciated. Thank you very much to all those that have donated. It's great and keeps the channel going. It keeps me motivated. So we've done a bit of weight painting, haven't we? And we've done a bit of animation. So that's good. Yeah, so that's why I do 25 frames per second. 24 is film standard, but 25, it makes no difference. People will say it makes a difference, but it doesn't. I mean, it makes a difference when you go up to something like 50, but between 24 and 25, they say, get the film look and go to 24 frames. You can't tell the difference. You really can't. Why do I sometimes only have object mode? I'm trying to think why that would be. Not sure. If you got light selected, maybe. Not sure what that is. 25 is easy to handle, isn't it, with time? Yep. What is the due date for the contest? That's a good question. I can't remember. Look on the Discord. It's in the competition announcements. Maybe I should check the Discord, shouldn't I? Because other people will see how. There we are. Right. So we've got an AVI. Well, let's see how you got on. Oh, it's taking me over to here. What's going on? Oh, it's downloading it. Oh, it's downloading it. I'm being an idiot. Yeah, it's downloading it. Actually going to have to download it and open it. Yeah, when you export your files, that's got to be a big file, isn't it? No, it's not. You choose FFmpeg. So I'll just quickly show that. So if you've done an animation and you want to export it, I'm in that tab here, which is the output properties. Under here, choose FFmpeg, not AVI, because they're big files. These are little files. It compresses it, but it compresses it well. Where was I? I was having a look at this animation, showing folder. Where's my downloads? Where's it go? It's going to come up here. Hey, there we go. Nice. Let's have another go. He's looking really weird, but it's working nicely. Well done. I can't remember who that was. No, I cannot remember how to pronounce your name, but it was them. Well done. Oh dear. Blender crashed. Killer. There we go. Is it working? Is it working now? Jaggy. I think he's a bit dizzy. Excellent. The eyes. Yeah. So more gold stars here for Jaggy. Yeah. Hercules Art. Dorian Dubani. Another one, different angle. I'm not going to play them all. Hey, it's in a GIF. That's a good idea. So just a bit of weight painting to tidy up there, but looking cool. I like the way you painted this on. That's probably the easiest way, isn't it? But it does get problematic when you want his mouth to move. So gold star there. Erwin Sunny Ray. Oh, definite gold star for some rigging going on there. Did anyone have this problem with the feet and the UVs? Well, that's interesting. It's coming from the generated into the... So it's you want to go from the object to see the emission to see what it's actually looking like. Not sure what's going on there, actually. I'm sorry about that. Juan, is it? Or Juan? I'm not sure. But well done for these people. Ah, there we go. That's better, isn't it? Let's see a bit easier there. Some really cool stuff happening there. So yeah, if you want to join in the competitions, then there's competition chat. Competition announcements just there. Grant's challenge corner. There we go. And this time it's Magic Book, and it is the 26th midnight, just before midnight on the 26th. So 26th is the last day to get entries in, and there'll be a review, hopefully, all going well, on the 27th if my internet's working. Hopefully, I'll have a new service provider, and they say they're really awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. They don't have so much contention on the line or whatever it's called, you know, where people are... oh yeah, that thing. Yeah. This is good fun, isn't it? I do like it when see people doing this stuff. So we got competition entries is where you put your competition entry, and you can tell me a little bit about how you're getting on. You can see some of a little sneak peek of what's going on in the competition. Oh, that's nice one, isn't it? Hey, cool, like that. Excellent. Anyway, but we don't want to overdo that, do we? Because we've got the stream for that. Where's my live stream channel gone? There we go. Hey, looking cool. Hercules Art, good. Minito with bones. It's good to see. I was thinking whilst I was doing this that this was absolutely hopeless and no one's going to be able to follow along, but well done if you managed it. If you didn't, hopefully you've learned something about it anyway. All going well. When you symmetrize the arms, what is the center? I'm assuming it's the where I added my rig, that the object center is there. So I made sure that I was at first I put Berk on the object center, and then I snapped the cursor to the center and then added the rig to make sure that was in the center, and that's going to be the center point that it's mirroring across. Did you add bones to the eyes? No, I did. If you go backwards you'll see, but I've just done them the eyes pointing with a constraint, a damped track. So they that one points to this one. So you can go off if you want, and he's got a weird lazy eye. And that's the only problem with this. You have to move it back manually. You can press Alt G, but it doesn't go back because I forgot, didn't I? I forgot to set the location. I need to move it now manually. That's a bit silly of me. So yeah, you want to set your location here. So if I press, I think this will work. If I press Control A and set location now, no, it hasn't worked. And that's interesting, isn't it? It's not working. No. Okay, so I'm going to undo those steps. Trying to think why that didn't work. Probably because can't think why it didn't work. So yeah, I should have set the rotation, the location before setting these up, and then I could have pressed Alt G if I want them to go back to where they were. Anyway, any other questions? So we're just over 2 hours, so we did start a little bit late. Yeah, it is better to rig the eyes with bones, but this is a nice simple way, isn't it? Because you can just do this, and you don't need to talk through all the bone issues about where one has to move, but then it's parented to another one. Gets people thinking, that does. Can you show how to add skin bumps while sculpting for realistic sculpting? I think I've showed that in other videos. So that's, look at my, if you look on my website, I've got a sort of sculpting section that's in there. That's the easiest way. And probably the easiest way is using a texture as a stencil. Is the easiest way. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. I certainly enjoyed myself. If you've got any ideas for nice, easy things to model, so simple, nice, sort of cute characters like this that we can have a bit of fun with, then in fact we need him looping, don't we? Him dancing in the background. I'll just set that up whilst I'm doing an outro. So let's turn overlays off and when does he stop jigging? About 140. So I'll put my end frame to 140 under here, end frame 140, and now he should sort of loop a bit. There he goes. Da, 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 da. Looks a bit glitchy though. It's not quite keeping up. I suppose it probably would in object mode. There we go. Doesn't drop frames in object mode. It's good fun, isn't it? You can use a bump map as well. Yeah, as Halal points out. And that's the Blender Boy, isn't it? Yep. Thanks so much. These work-alongs are awesome. Yes, they're enjoyable, aren't they? And I think they're what people want. So if you've got any ideas for other things you want to do with our character, with other characters we can do, or maybe other objects that are nice and simple that we can challenge beginners to work along with. So for example, tomorrow for my hard surface stuff, we're doing a hunting knife. I won't be doing that live, that's just a tutorial video. So nice simple objects you think, oh yeah, that would work as one of these sort of things. If you've got any ideas and suggestions, then put them in the live stream suggestions. There we go. And you can put them in the live stream channel as well. Hey, nice work, Jojoba. That looks cool, doesn't it? Saying goodbye. So yeah, suggestions in there, live stream stuff in there. Let me know if you've got any ideas. Where's the best place for free PBR materials? Probably PBR Haven, the Texture Haven, sorry. It's got PBRs on there, on Texture Haven. Probably the best place. I'll leave it with that one, I think. Thanks, everybody. A cola bottle. Well, that's quite a cool idea because it's quite difficult to texture, so that could be a good fun texturing one, couldn't it? I like that. We could give a cola bottle weird eyes as well, can we? Oh, sounding good. I love that one. Austrian stamp lover. Nice work. Did you say it looks like me? Does it look like me? Can you tell the difference? I'm trying to get in time, but that's tricky. Trying to get in time. Oh, it's doing a mirror image. Oh, I can't do it. Live is way better. It's good fun, isn't it? So we will be doing live stuff. I've got to keep going with the tutorials as well because I'm sure not everybody loves a live episode. And it goes a lot slower as well. Don't worry, Mark Knight, there'll be plenty more. Appreciated. So yes, and thanks to those that donated. Manish, Tapan, am I saying it? Yep, this is right, isn't it? Crazy985, and if I've missed anybody, sorry, but thank you very much for those people that it was sponsored by. Okay, so the next stream will be on Friday, where I'll be going through the character, hopefully a bit cooler in here and I won't feel so faint. And we will do another one of these follow-along ones next Wednesday. So Wednesdays and Fridays is my schedule for live streaming, at the moment anyway. And usually it's going to be about 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, 4 o'clock probably on a Friday. There we go. Speakers, interesting. I think I've just answered that 3D basket, just like behind me. You're doing the C-Shack, good stuff, Louis. I hope it's going well for you. Awesome stuff. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. And I will, see you next time. Happy blending.